Hi everyone, my name is Martin Gassner and I'm going to be talking to you about Burning Man history and art today. The city itself is 5 miles wide in diameter and in 2017 had over 70,000 people in it. I'm going to go over a little bit of history. So Larry Harvey on your left was one of the founding members of Burning Man back in 1986. And he said, "When I was in my late 30s, I lit a figure on the beach on fire on Baker Beach in San Francisco. It was me, a friend, and maybe 8 people, tops. There wasn't any premeditation to it at all. It was really just a product of San Franciscan Bohemian milieu," which I actually had to look up, and it means coming from the culture or the region influences, which made a lot of sense. To the right is the first effigy that was ever built and burnt on Baker Beach in 1986. There we go. This is another founding member, which are essentially the non-confrontational group that participants come and volunteer for. They define themselves as participants who volunteer to be non-confrontational community mediators. How this came about was Michael was at Burning Man the second year ever in 1988, and he had a Salvation Army t-shirt on that he bought, and it was a Forest Ranger t-shirt. So on the front it just said Forest Ranger, but on the back shoulders it said Ranger. So when the cops got called, they responded, they walked up to a man wearing a Ranger t-shirt. So he dispelled their concerns and got them to leave that night, but that's when they realized that they have a major need for a non-confrontational first responding force. So he founded that. Afterwards, within 5 years, the population grew over tenfold. By 1990, they had reached over 350 people. So they had to move the festival from Baker Beach, San Francisco, to Black Rock City, Nevada. And in that move, they started introducing those community values that I've talked briefly about before, like leave no trace, participation, and radical self-reliance, because they were essentially survival camping in that kind of setting. To your right is the first art car ever at Burning Man, and it was called the Earthquake Car. This is what current art and mutant vehicles look like now. To your left is the, how do I pronounce it? The El Pulpo Mecánico, and it is Spanish for the mechanical octopus. And I have had the pleasure of watching it and dancing in front of it. It's a 2-story tall electric mechanical octopus that is also a DJ booth, and it's a rolling club essentially. To your right is the Christina, a full-fledged yacht that comes to Burning Man every year. I honestly don't know how they get it there. It's bigger than most roads. It's beautiful, but I've had also a lot of fun times hanging out. It has a bar, it has a dance area, and it's just pretty magical. Fast forward. 2011 was my first year going to Burning Man, and it was also the first year Burning Man ever sold out in history. In 1991, there was 350 people. In 2011, my first year, there was 53,000 people, and that was their cap. That's why they had to sell out. And over 300 projects were funded that year, and Paul Duane, one of my friends, did this project. And his project was, if you had a microphone and you could speak to the whole world right now, what would be the 3 things you could say? This is the Temple of Transition, the temple my first year, and this is the Trojan horse. It was 3 stories tall, the base was a club, the body was a lounging socializing area, and within the head was a speakeasy. I really love these 2 pieces of art. The top one is called The Inner Child in All of Us, and I think it's a good metaphor to show that we all have a kid in us. And the man burns Saturday night every year. That's the pinnacle of most of the events for people. These are projects I've helped out on. The first one is the Bee Goddess. It was my first volunteer experience for a burnable effigy back in 2012. And then the following year, I helped on a psychedelic arch. I was a lead volunteer, and I helped clean up the burn scar. The one to your left is a Temple of Awareness for 2017, and a friend of mine, a friend of our community, took his own life, and so we were trying to raise awareness to suicide prevention. And in 2017, my next door neighbor built an effigy that was a big wooden piano, and I helped him build it in our backyard. We assembled it out there and we burned it, and I was the coordinator to clean up the burn scar. Yeah, I'm glad you all enjoyed my speech.